Good evening and thanks for joining us for another episode of ICTFEST 7 years and counting. My name is R. Anderson Edgel and our guest this evening is business consultant Petra Williams. Tonight we'll be taking a closer look at ICT's improving the delivery of education. But first off, I'd like to welcome Ms. Petra Williams to our show. Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Well, first off, Ms. Williams, you've been associated with the organization Education for Advancement. Tell us about the whole vision of that group.
Education for Advancement is designed to offer distance learning education services. Basically, it's global education, high quality education with international access. So we represent several institutions, internationally accredited as well, and you're able to pursue your studies right from the comfort of your home via distance learning using the ICT technology.
All right, now distance learning is not a new concept, but as you mentioned, this model utilizes ICTs tremendously. Elaborate a bit more on the use of the technology.
Okay, most of the courses are really internet-based learning. You get your course material, you are able to dialogue with your tutors through tutorials using various media platforms. There's Blackboard, which is an internet-driven technology. They also utilize social media a lot to stay in contact with students and across the whole tutorial sessions. And there are also tutors, lecture sessions that are delivered online as well.
All right, now ICTs, we're very much getting them integrated into our society in Antigua and Barbuda right now. But of course, there are some challenges where some individuals might not have access to computers and, of course, the internet. What is being done to address that and, as such, not disenfranchise anyone from having access to distance learning via ICTs?
Well, that is part of the reason why you have Education for Advancement, because we are not really an education institution directly per se. We presently represent 5 institutions and we have a local office. So if you don't have internet access at home or access to computers and so on, we have an office where you can actually come in and get access to the internet, get access to the computers. We have the Skype platform that you can utilize. We have all the various technologies in office that you can have access to as part of your program.
What has been the feedback like from students who have attended education for these institutions through Education for Advancement, and how successful has the project been really? How do you gauge the success?
I think we gauge success along several facets. Number one, we offer courses from the high school level straight through to your PhD level. Presently, we don't have anyone enrolled at the PhD level, but we presently have in excess of 275 students in Antigua and Barbuda right now enrolled in programs across our institutions. And we just recently added law that you can study via distance learning. So how we measure success is, one, the level of retention. And retention is important because it's distance learning, persons sign up with very good intentions, but because of all the commitments, you know, when you travel to school or to study, that you're focused on your studies, but you're home, you have your family, you have work and all of that. So a lot of focus is placed on being able to retain students in the session and get their commitments. And so far we have a retention rate of in excess of 75%. The regional retention rate is 52, so we think that we're doing pretty well on that score. The other challenge that we have is that some persons sign up with very good intentions and then we recognize that they either really don't have the time or they're not IT savvy or they're not able to fully grasp the concept. So at least once a quarter we run sessions where we actually train you to utilize the tools. It's now up to the student to determine if they have the time to come in. And we do student support for almost all the programs once students are willing to come in. So what we do, we marry the technology with the distance learning, and we also provide a local support base because we figure that even with the technology it is important. And we even do the local support base in Antigua, also utilizing the social media platforms. So you can actually get in touch with us via that without actually having to come into the office. And we're now going to add the using of the mobile phones. We're going to now add that as a new feature to keep in touch with our students and to make sure that they're staying on top of their studies.
All right, now this is revolutionary and definitely empowering for people in Antigua and Barbuda. But looking back now, ICTs have basically changed the way we live our lives as far as communication and the way we do business and many other areas of our lives over over a number of years. Why is it that we haven't seen much change in terms of our classroom and the impact of ICTs, or we're only now seeing significant changes?
I think part of the challenge in education has been the importance of that face-to-face, that direct contact. And I think that where you can think of in other areas where you're looking at the distance. I mean, I was just looking at the news the other day and realizing that the U.S. Postal Office, they've been suffering some significant losses because of the movement towards technology. I think as time progresses, once the buy-in comes in terms of using of the internet, the ICT technology for education, that we'll see a revolution. In fact, I know in Antigua we have 1 or 2 schools where most of their assignments and tutorials and so on are delivered using technology. I'm sure you're aware of that. I think CSET does that very well. As a local institution, and some of the private secondary schools are utilizing ICT as a medium of communication, even with parents, for the whole education process. So I think what we're seeing is that there is this change that is coming. The challenge I think we have in Antigua, well, there are several challenges with ICT. One, and I think this has been our biggest challenge, is the, what do you call it, the access, the broadband access, 3G, 2G. We are still unable in Antigua to have that kind of access so that you can easily download like your assignments and so on to like your mobile phone or your BlackBerry. We don't have that access as yet, and that is a challenge I think that we need to overcome quickly. That is now possible in Jamaica and Barbados, where when they get their emails, they can download them on their phone. So if they're in a meeting or they have a break or something, they can actually really utilize the technology, as opposed to where we're in Antigua, we still don't have full Wi-Fi access and all of that. So you still have to be tied to your home or your office or some physical location to really utilize the technology. I think once we're able to overcome that hurdle, that we will see the use of ICT in education being even moving faster pace.
So in short, you're saying that the access to broadband and the availability of the broadband infrastructure is what's really hindering the proliferation of ICTs in education?
Basically, I'm saying that that is causing us to not move as fast as we could.
All right.
Or as quickly as we could.
Okay, well, you're watching ICTFEST 7 years and counting. My guest tonight is Ms. Petra Williams. Our focus is on ICTs improving the delivery of education. Well, stay with us. We'll have more when we get back from the break.
My name is Lawrence Jardian. I'm the founder of DMS, Data Management Solutions Limited. We are a software development company. We specialize in payroll software for Antigua and Barbuda businesses. We first developed the product in 1992, and we wrote it for Windows in 2000 to meet Y2K. Since then, we have acquired a number of major clients, including Social Security Board and medical benefits. We also customize our application to meet the needs of many of our clients, to integrate with accounting packages, time and attendance modules, and also Microsoft Word and Excel, popular applications. We have participated in the ICTFEST since 2005. The ICTFEST has given us the opportunity to showcase our product and to meet a number of persons who are providing solutions as well. This year we will be participating in the ICTFEST to continue to demonstrate our product and to some extent assist the national development in terms of its ICT quest.
ICTFEST 2011, empowering the nation, improving lives.
Hello there. Do you know that we are in the middle of a digital revolution? Almost any individual, regardless of their age or socioeconomic background, should be able to make use of the day-to-day technologies, whether it's the internet, mobile cell phones, or computer. I, as an older person, I am fascinated by this ICT revolution that is currently sweeping the nation. And I don't want other senior citizens within our beautiful state to be left behind. I encourage you to get involved as an active user of technology. The ICTFEST has over the years been a wonderful place for me to go and explore the new developments in information communication technology across Antigua and Barbuda and further afield. I have learned about innovations in ICT that improve health service, delivery, education, and everyday business transactions. Don't miss out on this golden opportunity to learn more about information communication technology. See you soon at the ICTFEST.
ICTFEST 2011, empowering the nation, improving lives.
Well, thanks for staying with us here on ICT Fest 7 years and counting. My guest tonight is Ms. Petra Williams, business consultant. Our focus is on ICT's improving the delivery of education. But thanks for staying with us, Ms. Williams.
No problem.
Let's talk a bit now about some of the benefits of online learning as opposed to the traditional brick and mortar classrooms.
Well, I think the most significant benefit of distance learning, online learning, is the cost. Most of the institutions that do online learning, they either offer you your text and other materials online, or they're included with the cost of the program. So then there's not that additional cost of textbooks, and you know that that can be significant. That's one. Two, you also avoid the costs of on campus and all the transportation and so forth, because everything is being delivered to you online. So I think the most significant advantage is the cost. At the same time, we can actually look at the disadvantage at the same time. One of the disadvantages to online learning, distance learning, is that because you're on your own, if you're not very disciplined, you run the risk of losing your investment. And that's the best way to put it, because as we know, education is an investment. And if you're not sufficiently focused and have the drive and the willpower to stay the course, a lot of persons have lost their investment like that. Another advantage is, again, is that you're able to study at your own pace, though. So if you are a night person, after you've put your kids to sleep, after you've done your work and so forth, you can rest a bit, and then you can be up and be able to access your program, have access to your tutors, have access to recorded materials. Whereas with brick and mortar, you know that you have set hours for classes, and outside of that, you have a challenge getting access. Another important advantage, again, like I said earlier, is that you are able to stay with your family, with your surroundings, and for example, you're able to immediately begin to apply what you're learning to your profession or your job, if it is that you're working in a field that is similar to what you're studying. And I think that, based on the feedback we've gotten from some persons, that has been an important feature, where they have been able to immediately apply the knowledge or being able to do research on the spot so that they can enhance the overall learning process, as opposed to when you're in brick and mortar where you're being purely academic. The distance learning also allows you to your range to be very wide. Like I said, in our programs, we go from the high school level. You can do technical, you can do professional programs. We have had persons who are looking for a hobby. So now when things are challenged and you're looking to translate your hobby into a money-making venture, there are short courses that you can take online for a very reasonable price that can assist you in converting what you like into something from which you can profit.
All right, now before one decides to actually pursue distance or online learning, what are some of the key things that they should bear in mind before they actually make this step? I know you may have touched on some of those previous discussion.
I think perhaps the most important thing that one needs to take into account when looking to pursue distance learning is to know the institution and know the program that you want. You want to make sure that the institution from which you're getting your certification is in fact one which is recognized. In other words, you don't want to do your program with an institution, then you can't transfer those credits to another one if you need to. Or that same institution cannot allow you to continue your program onwards if you want to go to another level. Now, what is important about that, while I mentioned accreditation, is that There are different schools of thoughts on how accreditation works, but the important thing that you need to make sure, for example, if you're doing a US-based institution, make sure it's regionally accredited, because they don't have an international accreditation system. If it's from some other part of the world, you make sure that at least the country in which you're studying or the country for that institution recognizes that institution. That is very, very important. That is a critical component when you're doing your distance learning. The other thing too is to make sure that the course that you're doing is really what you want to pursue. You don't want to start a program and then halfway through you realize that, oh, this is not for me. Do your research, look at the course outline, and what I suggest persons do, even if you're not going to a brick and mortar institution, is to compare the course outline for that distance learning program to the course outline for a brick and mortar institution, so that you are comfortable that what you're getting is really what you want, what it should be. You're doing a business management diploma, not that they're telling you can do 5 courses and get your diploma. You know that that is not logical.
Yeah.
Right, things like that you need to look out for. Also, you need to look for the terms and conditions of payment, terms and conditions of refund. You want to make sure that if you want to get your monies back for whatever reason, that there's a system in place. And a lot of institutions have quote-unquote hidden fees, where they charge you late fees, they charge you for different things, even though they say there's an upfront cost. You want to make sure that you check with those institutions to make sure that the fees that they quote you are complete and that there are not any hidden costs as you go along in the program. I think those are the most critical things that I want to point out at this time.
All right, now it's been said that one of the barriers to ICTs really taking a footing in the classroom is the teacher's attitude. What do you say to teachers who are stuck on the chalk and talk approach to teaching?
As a student of chalk and talk, I have to say that it works. It has worked. But what we need to recognize, and it's our reality, is that chalk and talk does not give us the full range that we need to facilitate our total economic development. There's so many areas that we don't have teachers for in Antigua and Barbuda today. That's one. And two, given the limitations of our education plans. For example, if you look at, say, the State College, they can only take X number of students in any one session. And there is so many other persons who would like to have similar access that are unable to access it. So it's a matter of complementing the tools. That's one. And two, the World Wide Web has so many resources that we need access to. And we are operating in a global environment. So it's not just about what we are able to learn from the direct student-teacher approach in the classroom, the traditional classroom, but there's access to so much more information. The challenge becomes, and this is now becoming a critical issue, issues such as copyright, plagiarism, that we have to guard ourselves against as we go out into this use of ICTs in education.
All right, and as we move closer towards the use of ICTs in education, what are some of the specific guidelines that we should bear in mind to ensure that we actually achieve of our objective of actually enhancing the learning process as opposed to providing a distraction to the learning?
The first thing that we need to bear in mind is that we must have a vision for what we want for education and human resource development. Once we're able to establish that vision for our education product, our human resource development, where we want to see us heading, we can then begin to look to marry those tools in ICT that we need to get us forward. And I think that education, not only for the sake of education, but on the use of ICT is very, very critical. And teaching young people from as early as possible to be responsible in how they utilize the technology. I mean, one of the concerns that I note in recent times is that almost every child is now on Facebook, regardless of the fact that there are age limits that are there before you should be allowed on. And there's a reason for those age limits. Most of us allow our children on at any time. This is teaching, I mean, to some extent, you're allowing them to be irresponsible. They're getting access to things that they probably don't need to get access to at that time. One of the other things I mentioned in passing already, but the importance of paying attention to issues such as plagiarism and copyright. Because it's online, many of us just tend to just copy what we see and just reuse it without giving credit for the source. And we think that it is not important because it's there for everyone to see. But one of the things about having it being so available is that there are also systems in place that can easily check those kind of issues. And so you want to be responsible in terms of what you use from the media. You also want to be able to filter out what is useful, what is true, what is factual, from what is just posted. Because, you know, there's all kinds of quality of information. and you want to learn to find or learn to research in a manner that you get quality information that you need to use.
All right, now I'm going to give you a 30-second plug, or just to make a plug for education for advancement at this time.
Well, basically what I'd like to say is that Education for Advancement offers the opportunity for all of us in Antigua to continue our educational development. Education is an investment in ourselves, in our nation, and we have to look not only just locally but beyond our shores to see what opportunities are available. We represent 5 institutions. You can come in, give us a call, or check us on Facebook. We utilize the technology. We'll be Skyping soon to you. We are online. Check us out. Check us at ICTFEST, check our booth. There'll be prizes and surprises, and we will give you an opportunity to get global access to education.
Well, there you have it, Ms. Petra Williams. Do remember the dates for ICTFEST, October 12 and 13 at the Multipurpose Cultural and Exhibition Center. This year's ICTFEST is being held under the theme ICTFEST 2011, Empowering the Nation, Improving Lives. For more information on ICTFEST, you can contact us at telephone number 468-4610 or email us at ictfestantigua@gmail.com or visit our website at ictfest.ag. Well, thanks for staying with us. Do join us again next week. I'm R. Anderson Edgel.
Hello everyone, my name is Gamal Gooden of G Productions Online, the graphic and web design specialist in Antigua. And I must say that the ICTFEST has definitely positively impacted my business. Back in 2005, when I decided to start my business, the ICTFEST served as a launching pad for my business, as an introduction into the business world of Antigua. From the ICTFEST, I got a lot of exposure from radio, television, and even news broadcasts. From that exposure, I gained a lot of clientele from individuals, small businesses, up to large companies, even the government. And from the clientele, I got many opportunities. I've done websites and graphics for customers all over Antigua, all over the neighboring islands, as far as the USA, United Kingdom, even as far as Japan. So I must say that the ICTFEST has positively impacted my business.
ICTFEST 2011, Empowering the Nation, Improving Lives.
My name is Ken Shipley. I'm the Managing Director of Search Antigua. We are a website development and internet hosting company. ICT has impacted my life by not only giving me the tools to create a business of my own, but for also creating employment opportunities for fellow Antiguans and Barbudans. Anyone who's interested in visiting the beautiful island of Antigua and Barbuda can visit searchantigua.com to get more information.
ICTFEST 2011, Empowering the Nation, Improving Lives.